Mustafa was my best friend. In fact, he was more than that. He was my akhi, my brother. We were studying our A-levels together and loved watching football and going to the gym. We had our futures planned and hoped to have good careers one day. But one wrong decision ruined Mustafa's life. We often discussed the plight of all those suffering in Syria and thought of ways we could help those less fortunate than us. We all pledged to give money to charity and even arranged a charity football match. But Mustafa always wanted to do more. Mustafa began to spend all his spare time researching what was happening on the ground in Syria. It began to play on his mind, and it was all he could think about. He started to use chat rooms to talk to people about the situation in Syria. He soon entered a world where he was bombarded by false messages and videos claiming that Syria was the promised land. Mustafa began to talk to individuals who slowly persuaded him that he had to help them contact other young Muslims in the UK. Mustafa knew a lot of people in his area and he was hesitant about doing something that was wrong, but he had been convinced it was his religious obligation to help. Mustafa's father contacted me urgently. They were becoming increasingly worried about his behaviour. At first they thought he may have become more religious, but this wasn't the case. He wasn't praying. He was spending all his time talking to people online. I tried to reason with Mustafa, but he refused to listen to me. He had been watching extreme videos put online by ISIS and accessed material on bomb making and advice for people on how to conceal their identity. I warned him that the material was illegal and he could get arrested. Several months passed by and Mustafa cut all ties with me and our friends. He believed I was siding with the kuffars, as he labelled them, and argued he was not doing anything wrong. I heard from my friends that he had set up a chat group through which he was spreading ISIS propaganda. And then one day the police came for Mustafa. They took away his phone and laptop in which they found documents on ways to support jihad. As a result of the propaganda he had been promoting, one of the young boys on his WhatsApp group had travelled to Syria and had been killed. Mustafa seriously regretted now becoming involved in a group who had now vanished. Now he was in trouble. Mustafa was found guilty of preparing terrorist acts by attempting to facilitate others to travel to Syria to fight. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison and a further 2 years on extended license. His family were destroyed and I couldn't believe what had happened to my brother. Mustafa realised that he had been used by ISIS and not only destroyed someone else's family but brought dishonour to his religion. His family couldn't take the shame brought upon them by their only son and packed their belongings to move to another city. Mustafa repented for his mistakes, but ultimately he had paid the price for not listening to his loved ones.